Xnel here, and today we got the most frequently asked questions for Ni no Kuni Crossworlds. We're gonna cover different aspects of the game, including the play to earn aspect, the crafting system, is it free to play friendly, the Territe energy, which weapons to focus on, and much more. So we're gonna try to go through them as quickly as possible, but if I missed any of your questions, let me know in the comments, or you can ask me live on fb.gg/xnelph. You can also join our Discord community where we talk about Ni no Kuni all the time. That's discord.gg/xfam. Is this pay to win? Yes, absolutely. But there's nothing stopping you from enjoying the game. I spent a little above $100, so you could call me maybe a dolphin. And many in my community are completely F2P, but we are all enjoying the game just the same. You can participate in these massive kingdom activities like Kingdom Defense, Kingdom Dungeon, and even Kingdom Wars. And the 3v3 PvP is also enjoyable, despite the occasional whale ruining your chances of winning, but most of the time it feels fair and balanced. In PvP, player skill plays a huge role. Even if you're against someone who has a little bit higher CP than you can definitely beat them if you're a better player. It's all about knowing your positioning, knowing your cooldowns, and executing your combos. Is the game free-to-play friendly? Yes, I do think so. Can you compete at the highest level? Probably not, because of the whales. But I say it is F2P friendly because you can get everything, all the 4 stars and all the shiny 4 stars in many ways. For 4-star gear, there's events. Like this one, there's literally an event right now that will allow me to choose one 4-star from the fire, water, or earth. This is the second time they've done this since release, so it feels like every 2 weeks we're gonna get this type of event where you get to choose a free 4-star, but that's just my speculation. There's also this daily check-in where at the end of 14 days you will be able to get a random 4-star out of these. And again, this has been the second time they've done this, so it looks like every 2 weeks we might be getting this. There's also the class grade rewards where when you hit 60, 80, and 100, you get a weapon selection chest from the 4 stars, just the earth, water, and fire. So it's quite a long way, but it is there. And then the most important part for the free-to-play player is the crafting. This is where you will get most of your 4 stars. As you can see, there is a pity system. After 200 crafting, you will be guaranteed a 4-star. You can also get 4 stars before the pity hits. You can also get shiny 4 stars from crafting. Take note that the pity between weapon and armor crafting is shared. And lastly, of course, you also have free tickets that you can use to summon in the gacha polls. From 4-star familiars, you can get all of them from hatching, even the rare 4 stars. It is not impossible. Many in my community have already gotten some stag thorns and some bunny bots from hatching. Is this really play to earn? Well, yes. But what I say today may change in the future because remember, crypto is volatile and there has never been a successful play to earn model yet. So there's 2 resources in the game that you can exchange for fiat currency, and that is the Territe and the Asterite. The Territe is a utility token that you can use for almost everything, from crafting, from upgrading your gear and your familiars, enhancing your gear and familiars, and it is extremely farmable. So we are expecting the supply of this token is going to be really high, which probably means the price of Territe won't be significant enough for the average player to even bother with the play to earn mechanic for just Territe. But Asterite, on the other hand, does have some value. This is not a farmable token. Asterite can be earned weekly from placing high in the PvP leaderboards and the familiar arena. Remember, whales account for only a low percentage in these types of games. We're talking around 1%. If you are a decent gamer, you can definitely reach a top 10% in PvP and earn Asterite every week. I'm not even that good in the game and I'm top 10%. And even some in my community are in top 7%, top 5%. So it's definitely doable if you are a gamer. But Familiar Arena is a different story. For this, you have to get lucky with the super rare 4-star because the skills of the super rare 4-star familiars are so busted, they're so OP that you absolutely need them to compete and get into the top 10%. So here we're gonna fight somebody with no rare 4-star, see how it pans out. We're gonna get the Hippocampus skill right there. Boom! And I only hit 1. Alright, get wrecked. So I'm currently in the top 10% and that's gonna give me 800 Asterite on top of the Asterite we get from the Lava Valley weekly. I will say this about the play to earn aspect of the game. I believe tokenization is not the way, but the focus should be on NFTs. These are different. But that's for another video. I don't want to spend too much time on this one question. Which class is the best? The best class is the class you most enjoy. All classes have their pros and cons, and for the most part, they're generally balanced. MMOs like these tend to be about time investment and the grind. So you're going to be grinding for months on end, and if you pick a class that you don't like and you just picked it because somebody else said so, you're going to have a bad time. You might end up quitting, or you might choose to switch to another class later and waste all the resources that you have already spent on that other character. So I suggest try them around, check their skills, check their passives, read on it, see what resonates with you, see what you enjoy the most, and pick that one. What do I do when my bag is full? Your first order of business is to level up your alts to level 20. Now I know you don't want to do that because you want to focus on your main, but trust me, you will eventually have to do that anyway because of the many benefits to leveling alts, which we will talk about later. But for now, as you can see here, when you reach level 20 and get the class upgrade, you will be rewarded with 25 inventory slots. This will take less than half an hour of main questing because your alt will be very strong because it will have all the familiars and all the armor and accessories of your main. And it will have an XP bonus because it's 10 levels lower than your main. So it's very much worth doing this to all your alts, and it will take you about an hour and a half to do all 4 and get them to level 20. What do I do with 1-star gear? Awaken those gears. 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, you gotta awaken those. A lot of people don't want to awaken because it costs a lot of gold. So if you don't have gold, then farm gold. You will have to do this eventually. So if you put it off by salvaging or using them to feed 4-star equips, you're just wasting resources which you will need later. Because awakening these 1-star, 2-star, 3-stars are going to give you entries in the collection and give you stat bonuses, which also means more CP. Should I be spending everything on crafting? Early on, you do want to do a lot of crafting to get 3 stars to use while in early game, and maybe you get lucky and get a 4-star. But don't overdo it, as you won't be able to farm Territe reliably until much later, at around level 55 to 60 in Chaos Fields Floor 3. If you don't have the Territe to upgrade and enhance your gear, you will have a hard time clearing the content for your level. You'll get stuck waiting for the daily 50 Territe. But once you're at the point of efficient Territe farming, which is usually when you are able to kill mobs fast enough in Chaos Fields Floor 3, and if your familiar adventure level is high enough that it starts spawning Territe nodes, then that is when you really start going all in on the crafting and trying to get as many 4-stars for the awakenings of your weapons. So what is the benefit of leveling up your alts aside from bag slots? Well, you're gonna get so much gold and so much upgrade materials for both your gears and your familiars, as well as power-ups like the Tetro Puzzle and the Heart Stars. Finishing the Golden Grove questline gives a lot of upgrade stones. Serene Forest questline gives a lot of high-level varnishes. Those are just some examples, and if you are short on a material, chances are if you level up an alt, you will get those materials. And lastly, you also get more Territe energy. So what is Territe energy? How does it work? Territe energy determines 2 things. Number 1, the drop rate increase, and number 2, the amount of Territe you can farm. So the higher energy you have, that means higher drop rate for Territe. But with every drop of Territe you get, your Territe energy decreases. This energy gets filled by some amount every reset. So in my case, with every reset, I get 400 Territe energy. But there's no way that in one day I'm able to farm 400 Territe. I'd be lucky to get 200 Territe. So it's definitely impossible for me and for anybody at this point in time in the game to get 2,800 Territe per day. So if your Territe energy is always full, I don't think you should worry that much about it and just farm whatever material you need right now. Does energy drink and aroma focus affect Territe drops? No. Territe drops is entirely dependent on what map you are farming on and how much Territe energy you have. If you're farming in higher Chaos floors, then monsters drop more Territe. Chaos Floor 1, monsters drop 1 Territe. Chaos Floor 2, monsters drop 2 Territe. And Chaos Floor 3, monsters drop 4 Territe. And again, the higher Territe energy you have, the higher drop chance. Where and when should I use energy drinks? In my opinion, the best way to use it is to farm materials you want or need, especially when it's a low drop rate. We're talking skill pages and books, gems, varnishes. These are some examples. You don't use it to level up fast. Your level is not as important as your CP. And if you want to maximize it, try to get a party of 5 for the party bonus. And if you really want to maximize it, don't AFK and actually control the character when you are using the energy drink and lure multiple mob camps at once. That way you're gaining maximum value out of the energy drink. Should I level up 3-star gear? Try not to as much as you can. I myself made a mistake here and I leveled up and upgraded some of my 3-star gear, but it's actually kind of a waste of resources because in MMOs you always have to think long term. What actions should you take now that will benefit you long term? And in this game, even as a free-to-play player, your goal is to get 4 stars and awaken them multiple times with duplicates because it is very doable, just like we discussed earlier. So don't upgrade any 3 stars unless you really need to, when you're stuck and you really need that CP boost. I'll be making a more in-depth guide on gears and explaining why this 3-star flame sword is basically useless now, even if you're planning to run a fire focused deck. So stay tuned for that and turn on notifications so you don't miss out. 2 sub-weapon stats have an effect when they are equipped, but not the one being used. So for example, I'm using the fire sword, the guardian's blade, and I have the 4-star water and 4-star earth as a sub-weapon. Yes, absolutely, these stats do take effect. You get the attack and you get all of this extra awakening effect. Now the water attack is useless because you are dealing fire damage since you are using the fire sword, but you get everything else. Same with this one, you get the attack and you get the basic skill damage plus 15%. Of course, you also get the gem effects, so these accuracy gems also take effect. Which element of weapon should I focus on? Well, you'll have to upgrade 1 4-star of each element anyway, but you want to focus first on these 3, the fire, water, and earth 4 stars. Why? Because these 3 have amazing awakening effects that they will form your core deck all the time, no matter what element you're running. So as you can see here, the 4-star sword gives you basic attack damage. This is plus 15% at no awakening. Basic attack damage is huge. You're always doing basic attack damage. And then the water 4-star gives special skill damage. Special skills are the one where you have a lot of choices from and there's a lot of different elements. Things like Grasping Thorn or Meteor Strike. They get special skill damage plus 15% at 0 awakening. So again, this affects you even if this weapon is a sub weapon. And then for the earth, it gives basic skill damage plus 15%. Basic skills refers to the only 3 skills of the character, which changes element depending on your weapon. So again, this affects your character even if it's used as a sub weapon. So when you are fighting against enemies who are weak to either of these 3 weapons, you just switch whichever weapon you have in hand to a weapon that has an advantage. But if you need to equip a light weapon or a dark weapon, all you have to do is pick between the water or the earth, switch one of them out for your light or dark, and that way you still get the benefit of basic attack damage plus and either special skill damage plus or basic skill damage plus. The light and dark are not as flexible because as you can see, the light deals more damage to darkness monsters, so it's not always effective because you're not always fighting darkness monsters, and the same goes for the dark weapon. So focus on these 3 and most importantly the fire because you're always gonna be basic attacking. Should I be crafting boss accessories? It costs way too much. It's 50k gold per craft and the chance for a 4-star is really low. You don't have to do this because you'll be fighting the world boss and the field bosses for the foreseeable future and therefore you will get many chances to get a 4-star accessory drop. A better use of boss mats is to fuse them in the alchemy pot. Here you will be able to get so many different things. You'll get soul stones and specialties, and you get heart stars, like star auras I mean, and you get varnishes, enhancement stones, and you get a bunch of tickets that you can use to get rare stuff from alchemy. Where should I spend my diamonds? Should I spend it in a gacha and let RNGesus take the wheel? My recommendation, first thing you need to do is if you have 1,600 diamonds is get the diamond rebate. It's basically free. You spend 1,600 diamonds and then you get it back plus a bunch of other free stuff over the course of 7 days. I also think it's worth it to buy the energy drink at least once every day for 50 diamonds. Just make sure you use it wisely so you make the most out of the 50 diamonds. I also think the Heartstar Treasure Chest bundle is worth it, but not all the time. You don't have to buy this every single time. Because there will come a point that your familiar adventure level is high enough that you will get these grade 4 and grade 5 familiar mobs, which give star auras. And you're gonna get so much more star auras that the heart stars can't keep up. So when you get to that point where you have so many star auras but not enough sparkling hearts, then I think this is worth a buy. But again, don't buy it every time because then you'll end up at a place where you have so many sparkling hearts but not enough star auras. I also think it is worth it to use the diamonds to get more entries to the Fire Temple. The Fire Temple, you will get a lot of upgrade stones and varnishes for only 100 diamonds. And it is more worth it the higher tier you are doing it. Now you can use your diamonds to pull in the gacha, but I advise against it because you could spend 2,000 diamonds and just get a bunch of 3 stars, which probably did not help with increasing your power level. And again, you can craft gear and hatch familiars. Everything is accessible for free to play. Should you pull in the rate up familiar banner or in the standard familiar banner? You must know that in the rate up familiar banner, the pity counter does not carry over to the next rate up banner, unlike in, say, Genshin Impact. And it only lasts for 2 weeks, so it is virtually impossible for a free-to-play player to get to hard pity. As you can see, you need 200 pity to get the Stagthorn. And take note, if you use tickets, it does not count as 1 pity. It only counts as 0.5 pity. So you're gonna need 400 tickets to get a guaranteed Stagthorn. If you're feeling lucky that you might get Stagthorn without reaching 200 pity, then by all means go ahead. But my recommendation is use it in the standard familiar banner because the pity for this one builds up no matter what the event is or what patch it is. How does the party buff work? So if you're in a party of 5 people, you get gold rate plus 12% and prize drop rate plus 12%. So this is great when you're AFK farming, you get more gold and higher drop chance for those whatever material you're farming. But this only works if the members of the party are in the same channel and nearby each other, right around the same mobs. So let's say you're farming in Cloud Coil, you're over here farming the mobs here, and there's 4 of you here, but the 5th member is over here. Even though they're in the same channel, your party buff only counts as 4 members. Which special skills are the best? Which should you prioritize? First of all, you will need to get every single one of these eventually, even at just level 1. These are the ones that I currently have. I still don't have a lot of them, but you will need to get all of them because they are all codex entries and you get benefits for having them. And when you're doing AFK farming against mobs of a certain element type, you want to be using the triple element that they are weak to so that your farming is much more efficient. But in terms of which to prioritize, what you'll mostly want are the special skills with hard CC so you can use them in PvP content. So we're talking about Grasping Thorns, very popular. This thing runs out in less than a minute when the Traveling Merchant appears. Meteor Strike is another popular one. Some skills, however, cannot be gained by being free to play, such as the Shadow Disc and the Static Field. You have to spend some in the shop. But in my opinion, you don't really need these. I just like the Static Field because I like to dive in and then stun the enemies. Other than that, it's more about thinking about your playstyle, your class, and how you want to approach PvP and picking the skills which will gel well with your playstyle. Like what I said, I like to dive in with my Spin Assault, like that, and then they're knocked down, and then I follow up with a stun with the Static Field. So think about your playstyle and check the skills, see what works, and also make sure that they can actually be farmed and not a cash shop skill. And the way you can check that is you click claim, or in the case of Shadow Disc, since I have it, I click level up, and then click the book, and then click the source, and then if it only says the shop is the source, then that is a shop only skill. Which familiars are the best? So let's just get this out of the way. Don't bother with 3-star familiars. It's the same case with the gears. All you need to do is awaken them, but don't spend any upgrade and level up materials on the 3-star familiars. They will be outclassed by 4-star familiars, and like I said, you just keep hatching and you will get all the 4-star familiars. Now, once you get a super rare 4-star from hatching, which is possible, or from the gacha pulls, you bet your ass that you are gonna be focusing on leveling that up no matter what super rare it is, because they are all so busted, so OP, their skills both in combat and in familiar arena. So if you get an SR, you go hard and level that guy up. And then when it comes to leveling up other familiars, well, the thing is they all have separate level up materials. There's different colors of beans for different elements of familiars. So the logical thing you should be doing is just upgrading the best familiar you have of each element. So if you only have 1 4-star of the earth, where else are you gonna use your earth beans? If you have a shrimp paler, where else are you gonna use your fire beans? Now, considering all that, I do recommend focusing on leveling up familiars which have synergy with your other stronger familiars when it comes to their familiar arena skill. Because in PvE combat, yeah, sure, they're helping a lot, But in Familiar Arena, you're gonna get the Asterite if you're performing well in the Asterite Arena. However, if that's not your thing and you'd rather focus on the PvE content, then you can focus on the field skill right here. So did I miss any question you had in mind? Let me know in the comments, or you can ask me when I go live on fb.gg/xnoph. I'll see you in our Discord as well, where you can discuss with our community, discord.gg/xfam. See you around. Get stunned, boy! Hindi